because they've pulled off an incredible operation, which has gone very smoothly so far, and honestly on a par with international standards, on a par with the best of them out there.
I have to concur with you.
Yes.
The founding president, next to what we see on screen, the First Lady, Madam Siski Mbumba.
Founding father. The civilian pallbearers will now take their place. One of them is Venani, McHenry Venani, who is the leader of the official opposition. And he considered President Geingob as his older brother. And of course, Alpheus Nariseb, and the son of Dr. Geingob, Mangaliso.
The vice president.
Yes, and the vice president.
Yeah.
Yes,
the vice
John
Prime
Matora.
Minister. Yeah, John Matora.
Yes, as well as Alpheus Nariseb.
I would like...
And retired politician Ben Amatila is also, of course, one of the pallbearers.
Yes.
standing for the...
Who was also, Ben Amadela was also part of the Constituent Assembly together with Dr. Geingob. And this is the president of Ethiopia, just arriving on your screens now.
You may please take your seats. I would like to acknowledge the arrival of His Excellency.
Mtazamaji, umetoka kusikia hapo wimbo wa taifa wa Namibia, na watu walikuwa wamesimama kama heshima nchini Namibia, lakini baada ya wimbo huo kumalizika wakaketi. Nikukumbushe tu viongozi wastaafu kutoka bara la Afrika ambao wameshawasili katika uwanja huo wa Uhuru ni Rais mstaafu wa Liberia Johnson Sirleaf, lakini vile vile Olusegun Obasanjo, lakini pia na Joseph Kabila, na kutoka Tanzania ni Rais
Retired General Ndaitwa, Honorable Professor Peter Kachavivi, Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Lucas Nimbo Muha, Chairperson of the National Council, and Madam Muha, Your Lordship Peter Shivute, Chief Justice, and Judge Shivute, Honorable John Mutorwa, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works and Transport, and Madam Mutorwa, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Sophia Shaningwa, Secretary General of the SWAPO Party, Honorable McHenry Venani, Leader of the Official Opposition, and Madam Venani, veterans of the National Liberation Struggle, Honorable Laura McLeod Kashirwa, Governor of the Commerce Region, and all other governors present here, Your Worship Queen Kamati, Mayor of the City of Windhoek, and all other mayors present here, Chief Emmanuel Gaseb, Chairperson of the Council of Traditional Leaders, and other traditional leaders present, distinguished service chiefs, Bishop Emeritus Dr. Zephania Kameta, retired Reverend Bishop, and other members of the clergy, fellow Namibians, I extend greetings to you all. May I, before I proceed with the statement, recognize the arrival of His Excellency, the President of the Democratic Republic of Congo. You are welcome, Your Excellency. I understand Her Excellency, the President of Ethiopia, also arrived, and we warmly welcome her. Welcome, Your Excellency. On the 4th of February 2024, Namibia woke up to the very sad news of the passing on of our President, His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob. Since then, the Namibian nation has been grappling with the tremendous pain and sorrow that followed the sudden departure of our president. The shock of Dr. Geingob's sudden passing reverberated across the world, generating an outpouring of messages of sympathy and expressions of acknowledgement of Dr. Geingob in the various capacities that he has served, not only here at home, but regionally, continentally, and also globally. Today, as we move closer to taking our departed president to his final resting place, we are comforted by the large outturn of mourners from across our country and the globe who have joined us to memorialize him one last time before we escort him to his final resting place tomorrow. I would like to recognize and appreciate the presence of heads of state and government, leaders of international organizations, and individuals from outside Namibia who are here today, as well as the messages of condolences and other support provided to us during this difficult period of mourning our departed president. Your support has been a source of strength to us. The late Dr. Hage Geingob's leadership was shaped by and during the struggle for our nation's independence, which he joined at a youthful age and to which he dedicated his full youth. The leadership of SWAPO as a national liberation movement spotted the exceptional leadership qualities and his passion for serving his people, and so they mentored him, entrusting him with different important responsibilities, all of which he discharged with diligence and commitment. His tasks ranged from representing SWAPO of Namibia at the United Nations to mobilize international support for our struggle for national independence, heading the United Nations Institute for Namibia in Lusaka, Zambia, where Namibian future leaders and administrators were being molded in preparations for self-governance after independence, leading the first SWAPO delegation from exile to come to Namibia to participate in the UN supervised elections that led to our independence, being the director of elections for SWAPO, chairing the Constituent Assembly that authored our Constitution, and being the founding Prime Minister, and then our third President, a task which he performed until the 4th of February 2024, when death robbed him from us. Dr. Geingob built on the foundation set by the founding president, Dr. Sam Nujoma, who is with us here, and the second president, Dr. Hifikepunye Pohamba, also with us here, who are his mentors and predecessors, both at the party and at the government. It is appropriate at this time, therefore, to applaud their excellencies Dr. Sam Nujoma, founding president and father of the Namibian nation, and Dr. Hifikepunye Pohamba, the second president, who mentored the late Dr. Hage Geingob into these roles and entrusted him with responsibilities that developed his talents, enabling him to become the effective, passionate leader that he was. Although we are deeply saddened by the passing of Dr. Geingob, we are comforted by the knowledge that his legacy will continue and will be a source of inspiration for us to continue to strive towards this destination of a prosperous and inclusive Namibia that respects the rule of law, democracy, and peaceful coexistence with other nations around the world, values that he cherished. The words of Bill Gates that, and I quote, "As we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others," close quote, best describe Dr. Hage Geingob's belief in talent utilization and his strong pursuit for strong systems, processes, and institutions as pillars of a strong Namibian house. Your Excellencies, fellow Namibians, today, as we bid farewell to Dr. Hage Geingob, it is befitting that we appreciate the family of Dr. Geingob, the widow, the children, and the entire extended family for surrendering him to the service of the people of Namibia and taking a back seat, and for supporting him in all his public duties. And we extend to them heartfelt sympathies and condolences once more. My name is Sarah Kugongerwa Amadira, Prime Minister of the Republic of Namibia, and shall serve as Director of Ceremonies, assisted by Honorable Franz Kapofi, the Minister of Defense and Veterans Affairs. Your Excellency, Dr. Nangolo Mbuba, President of the Republic of Namibia, and Chief Mona and Madam Bumba, Your Excellency, Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwa, Your Excellencies, the founding president and the second president, Madam Monica Geinkos, the widow of our departed president, the children and the family. Since the news of the passing on of our beloved president, Dr. Hage Geingob, as a nation, we have received several visits and messages to console the family and the nation. At this juncture, allow me to acknowledge with appreciation the following dignitaries who have joined us in celebrating the life of our departed president and to memorialize him. They are as follows. They come from the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria, the People's Republic of China, the Republic of the Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, the Republic of Cuba, the Arab Republic of Egypt, the Republic of Equatorial Guinea, the Republic of Eswatini, the Kingdom of Eswatini, France, the State of Kuwait, the Republic of Madagascar, the Kingdom of the Netherlands, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Portugal, Qatar, the Republic of Rwanda, the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, the Republic of Senegal, the Republic of Serbia, the Kingdom of Spain, the Republic of Uganda, the United Kingdom, United States of America, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, and countries that are represented at ambassadorial levels, as well as international organizations include the Commonwealth of Australia, the Federal State of Austria, the People's Republic of Bangladesh, the Kingdom of Belgium, the Federative Republic of Brazil, Canada, the Republic of Ireland, the Republic of Korea, the Republic of Liberia, Republic of Mauritius, the Kingdom of Morocco, the Kingdom of Norway, the Palestine State, the Republic of Seychelles, the Republic of Singapore, the Kingdom of Sweden, the Kingdom of Thailand. The regional organizations include the head of the African Union Commission, the Secretary General of the UN, the Southern African Development Community, SADC, the head of the Commonwealth, and other international and regional organizations, which include the African Peer Review Mechanism, the International Organization for Migration, SADC Elimination Aid, SADC Parliamentary Forum, SADC Mission in Mozambique, and United Nations World Tourism Organization. We appreciate very much your presence to condole with us and to celebrate the life of our departed president. And we appreciate...
Mtazamaji, ni kukumbushe tu bado unaendelea kufuatilia matangazo mbashara ambayo tumejiunga na chombo cha shirika la utangazaji la Namibia NBC, ambapo viongozi kutoka mataifa mbalimbali wamewasili hapo kwa ajili ya ibada maalum ya hayati Dkt. Hage Geingob, na miongoni mwa viongozi ambao wameweza kuwasili hapo ni viongozi kutoka China, Kongo, Cuba, Singapore, Ukraine pamoja na Umoja wa Falme za Kiarabu. Lakini vile vile kwa upande wa viongozi wa Namibia, rais wa kwanza wa Namibia Dkt. Sam Nujoma, ambaye yeye pia ni baba wa taifa la Namibia. Lakini rais mstaafu wa awamu ya pili pia ameweza kuwasili hapo, ambaye anaitwa Hifikepunye Pohamba. Lakini pia rais wa sasa wa nchi hiyo wa Namibia anaitwa Nangolo Mbumba ameweza kuwasili hapo kwa ajili ya ibada maalum itakayofanyika katika uwanja wa Uhuru. Na makamu wa rais pia wa Namibia Netumbo Ndaitwah pia ameweza kuwasili katika uwanja wa Uhuru na kusubiri ibada maalum kwa ajili ya hayati Dkt. Hage Geingob.
Grace unto you, sisters and brothers, and consolation inside and outside. And that means the wiping of the tears from the heart and the wiping of the tears from the eyes. And peace from the one who was, who is now here, and who is to come. Amen. Dear sisters and brothers, the widow, the children, the bereaved family, the crying Namibia, and the whole world, I want to read for you the second letter of St. Paul to his son in faith, Timothy, chapter 4, only 3 verses, 6 and 7. And it reads as follows: like a drink offering, and the time for my departure is very near. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race, and I have kept the faith. And now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing. Let us pray. We need you, Lord, in this hour. And not only in this hour, but always. Touch us with your blessing hands and lift us all up and give us peace. Amen. These were the last words of St. Paul as he said before his departure. And this departure was not a quiet departure. He was executed by the Roman Empire. And he's saying, what I'm saying now, and especially that for me is waiting the crown of justiceness. It's not only for me, but it is for all those who believed in our Lord Jesus Christ through the message of the gospel. And this is the reason, dear sisters and brothers gathered here, why I am using with great respect these words of the apostle with regard the son of the soil who is laying here. He fought the good fight of faith for the liberation of Namibia, for justice in Namibia. And for unity in Namibia. And not only for Namibia, as we are seeing this afternoon, but for liberation, justice, peace, unity for the whole world. And this he did, not just like that, but which was rampant in this country, against oppression, against division. And the next word I'm going to mention is very much surprising that we are hearing it again in 2024. He fought against apartheid and tribalism and violence. And these three are still present in this country. This is a beautiful country, and we have got hope derived from the son of the soil. We are walking around with our heads up on what he was preparing, our late president. But he made sure that the past is not carried into the present in the oppression, division. In the words of the apostle, the son of the soil, Hage Geingob, finished the race. Not on a smooth, athletic track, as it is here on Independence Avenue, but he finished the race on thorns. And he was running for the cause of justice, liberation, and peace among hyenas, tigers, lions, and snakes. And he didn't quit. He never quit. He didn't waver. But he kept the faith in his Lord Jesus Christ. He was a committed church member. But in that, he embraced all people, all the faith. And he kept the vision for a Namibia or a Namibian house, in which no one will feel or experience being left out. Yes, indeed, where recognizing our differences. We have differences. We speak different languages. We look different from each other. And we belong to different political parties and church denominations. But this should be seen as a garden of flowers. And if the flowers are only red in the garden, it won't look so beautiful. But red, yellow, white, whatever you have, that's how we should see Namibia. And not only Namibia again, but the whole world. And live in unity and peace. Why? For development and prosperity. Our president's vision for unity, justice, and peace was not only for Namibia, but for the whole world. And especially these days and this time, where leaders in this world are still talking of the East and the West and the North and the South, instead of talking of one family, of the one house called planet Earth. It's shocking. But people will go and throw a bomb in another country. But if you do that, will there be peace in your own country? Dear sisters and brothers, we are now left behind with a memory. That's all. We are not left behind with the memory, which is more valuable than the wealth of this world. And this memory, sisters and brothers, is a memory of what he was always saying. One Namibian house. Pulling together in the same direction, not in different directions. And no one should feel left out. This memory must not just be a memory and the reason for unending useless speeches, but it should be a memory, sisters and brothers, your excellencies, which must be put in action, in concrete deeds. Here in Namibia, but all over the whole world. May the soul of Dr. Hage Geingob rest in eternal peace. And his inspiring memory console all of us, but especially our mother, Monica Geingob, the children, the whole family, and the whole world. And now, may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship and unity of the Holy Spirit be with us all. In the name of God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
mtazamaji umetoka kumwangalia, huyu alikuwa ni Dr. Zafenia Kamita ambaye alikuwa akitoa mistari miwili mitatu kutoka kwenye kitabu kitakatifu cha Biblia. Lakini
Februari 4 rais huyo wa tatu wa Namibia. Februari 4 rais huyo wa tatu wa Namibia, Dr. Hage Geingob, ambaye kiukweli anakumbukwa zaidi na taifa lake la Namibia, na ukizingatia Namibia ni kwamba imekuwa na mchango mkubwa katika ile jumuiya ya SADC. Na ndio maana unaona katika viongozi wengi wa SADC wapo kule. Rais Samia yupo kule. Rais mstaafu Dr. Jakaya Kikwete yupo kule. Marais wa nchi jirani zile za SADC wapo kule. Na ni rais wa Afrika Kusini aliwapongeza Namibia kwa namna walivyoweza kuchukua ule utaratibu wa kisiasa wa kubadilishana madaraka baada ya kifo cha Dr. Geingob Februari 4. Kwa kweli hawakuchukua muda mrefu, wakafanya mabadiliko ya uongozi. Ni kama hivyo tokea kwa Tanzania. Mifano ambayo nadhani kwa Afrika tukiendelea namna hii demokrasia ile inazidi kuongezeka. Lakini kwa leo ni siku nzito sana kwa Namibia, kwa sababu hata ile namna ilivyotokea utulivu ulikuwa mkubwa sana nchini Namibia pale. Na utakumbuka kwamba hata marais, huyu ni rais wa 4 rais wa tatu kwa Namibia. Ukianzia na baba wa taifa la ambao leo yupo katika shughuli ile, Sam Nujoma, Hifikepunye Pohamba, akafuatia Geingob, sasa ni huyu Nangolo Mbumba, ni rais wa 4. Aliyefariki ni rais wa 3 Dr. Geingob. Ukweli ni kwamba ni siku nzito sana kwa raia wa Namibia, na zaidi anakumbukwa kwa namna alivyoweza kushiriki katika ujenzi wa uchumi wa nchi yao, kukuza demokrasia ambayo imeonekana katika mbadilishano wa ule uongozi. Kwa kweli bado ni siku nzito, tusubiri kinachoendelea, na sisi tutaendelea kuwafahamisha watu yale yanaendelea kutokea uwanja wa Uhuru katika mji mkuu wa Namibia, Windhoek. Naam.
Elections, President Hage Geingob was re-elected to the second term of office. Dr. Geingob was also the third president of the ruling SWAPO Party of Namibia, following his elections at the 6th SWAPO Party Ordinary Congress in November 2017. At the 7th Ordinary Congress of the SWAPO Party in 2022, President Geingob was re-elected by acclamation as a president of the SWAPO Party. As president of the Republic of Namibia from 2015 to 2024, getting steady leadership throughout an economic downturn occasioned by global commodity crisis of 2014. Severe droughts between 2014 to 2019, recorded to have been the worst in the history of our country. That, of course, included COVID-19 pandemic, which affected many sectors of the economy from 2020 to 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, Hage Geingob was born on the 3rd of August, 1941. I begin to wonder how I can even confuse the date, the year of my when I was born. In the district of Grootfontein, in the Shovanjipa region. Geingob began his schooling in Otavi in the year 1948. In 1958, he attended Augustinium Government College, where the first seeds of political consciousness were planted. As a student at Augustinium College, Hage actively engaged in student against unfair treatment of students, student of that time. That included many people of my generation as we gathered at that particular educational institution. In 1961, he completed his teacher's training, after which he started teaching in Sumep. It was in Sumep where he started partaking in SWAPO activities and officially joined SWAPO Party in 1962. On the 3rd of April 1962, Southwest Africa into exile, transiting through Botswana, joining other freedom fighters, particularly at that time from South Africa, from Mozambique, from Angola, and of course from Namibia here, to pursue the struggle for liberation. Dr. Geingob left Botswana for Leopold Fellowship to go to the United States of America, where he enrolled at Temple University in Philadelphia. While in the United States, Dr. Geingob was appointed as SWAPO representative to the Americas, and of course serving as a chief representative to the United Nations. Combining his duties as a freedom fighter and a petitioner at the United Nations, Dr. Geingob obtained a BA in political science from Fordham University in New York in 1970, and later read for a master's degree in international relations at the New School for Social Research in 1974. In 1997, the University of Namibia had the honor to award him an honorary doctorate of laws. Eventually he obtained a doctor of philosophy from Leeds University in the United Kingdom in 2004, with his thesis titled "The State Formation in Namibia, Promoting Democracy and Good Governance." Honorary degree in doctorate in humane letters, a recipient of many international awards endeavor. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Geingob is also a recipient of the Order of Joseph Marti Award for his exceptional leadership from the government of the Republic of Cuba. Following the termination of the South African mandate over Namibia in 1966, the United Nations assumed direct responsibility and subsequently established a nationhood program for Namibia that included the setting up of the United Nations Institute for Namibia in Lusaka, Zambia. Dr. Geingob was appointed a director of that institution in Lusaka from 1975, and he served until 1989. An institution that he established and whose core mandate was sectoral policy research and to train cadres for the future civil service of an independent Namibia. In 1989, he was chosen by the leadership of SWAPO to lead a cohort of senior SWAPO leaders and Namibians then living in exile to return to Namibia under the United Nations Security Council Resolution 435, a resolution that paved the way for free and fair elections that was conducted by the United Nations and supervised by our dear Marty Atisari. Following the successful United Nations supervised election in 1989, where he held the position of a director of elections of SWAPO. Dr. Geingob was elected chairperson of the Constituent Assembly, the body that was responsible for drafting the constitution for independent Namibia. At the independence on the 21st of March 1990, Dr. Geingob was appointed as our first Prime Minister, where he geared towards serving the interests of all Namibians, regardless of color or place of origin, but for the sake of molding a united country. Dr. Geingob served for 12 years in the position of Prime Minister before taking a brief break from the political scene. In 2005, Dr. Geingob returned to active politics and served as the chief whip of the SWAPO party in the National Assembly and was the chairperson of the Parliamentary Study Committee of the Economics and Public Administration. Ladies and gentlemen, following his election in 2007 as a vice president of SWAPO, Dr. Geingob was appointed in 2008 as a Minister of Trade and Industry. As a minister, Dr. Geingob spearheaded the assistance of small and medium enterprises through the Equipment Aid Scheme, the industrial policy, and the creation of during November 2007 at the SWAPO Party Congress. In 2012, Dr. Geingob was re-elected as the vice president of SWAPO Party, following which he was reappointed as a prime minister in 2012 until his election as a president of was, along with his colleagues, continental and international forums. His presence and contribution was highly appreciated and left indelible mark in international affairs. On the regional stage, Dr. Geingob served as the chairperson of the SADC organ of politics, defense and security cooperation. He was also actively involved in the work of the African Union, contributing to ensuring peace and stability across the African continent. On the stage of the United Nations, President Geingob shared a deep understanding for its work in development, peace, and security. He was the 10 heads of state calling for reforms of the United Nations Security Council. As a president of Namibia, he played a crucial role in our engagement with the Commonwealth of Nations. The themes are inclusivity spells harmony, exclusivity spells conflict. One Namibia, one nation, and that no one should feel left out in the Namibian House. A prominent of the partnership in government and in President Geingob led the creation of the Anti-Corruption Commission as a prime minister in the 1990s. Very active throughout his career as a senior person within our government, spared no effort in speaking out in favor of a free press and advocating the ability that we should be open to each other. And in politics, there is always a give and take. Concerned with the acceleration of development and prosperity for the Namibian people, President Geingob initiated the Harambee Prosperity Plan 1 and 2, where the stated objective of strengthening effective governance, architecture, the social progression of vulnerable and economic infrastructure advancement for Namibia, as well as enhancement of Namibia's standing in the international arena. Dr. Geingob championed the creation of Namibia's Sovereign Wealth Fund to ensure sustainable development for generations to come. All that having in mind a peaceful Namibia, a developed Namibia, taking into account what we inherited at the time of independence. In divided country, His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob is survived by his dear wife, Monica Geinkos, 8 children and 3 grandchildren, 2 siblings, and many nieces and nephews. Go well, my friend, the son of Namibia. Remember you. Rest in peace.
Anam, mtazamaji, ni siku maalum ya maombolezo ya kitaifa yanayofanyika katika uwanja wa Uhuru mjini Windhoek katika kumbukizi kabla ya kufanyika kwa maziko rasmi ya aliyekuwa rais wa Namibia Dr. Hage Geingob. Yanafanyika kitaifa ambapo amehudhuriwa na viongozi mbalimbali kutoka mataifa ya Afrika na nje ya Afrika. Lakini kikubwa zaidi yupo Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, yupo katika shughuli hiyo. Lakini yupo Rais mstaafu wa Tanzania Dr. Jakaya Kikwete yuko kule, na vile vile uongozi wa Chama cha Mapinduzi, makamu mwenyekiti wa Chama cha Mapinduzi Abdulrahman Kinana yuko. Itakumbuka kwamba Chama cha Ukombozi wa Namibia SWAPO kina ushirikiano mkubwa na wa karibu na Chama cha Mapinduzi. Itakumbuka Tanzania ilikuwa kinara katika harakati za ukombozi wa nchi za kusini mwa Afrika, ambapo Namibia ilikuwa ni moja wao iliyopata ushirika mkubwa. Na mtazamaji, kama unafungua television yako, ni maombolezo ya kitaifa ya kifo cha aliyekuwa rais wa 3 wa Namibia Dr. Hage Geingob, ambaye pia amewahi kuwa waziri mkuu. Katika waliozungumza hapo awali kumzungumzia Dr. Geingob, wamesema namna alivyokuwa mchapakazi. Na itakumbuka kwamba Namibia wakati ule ndio inapata uhuru, yeye aliwahi kushika nafasi ya waziri mkuu kwa miaka 12 kutoka mwaka 1990 hadi mwaka 2002. Lakini pia kutokana na umaridadi wake wa uchapakazi alirejeshwa tena baada ya kushika nafasi kadhaa ya kupata waziri mkuu tena 2012 hadi 2015. Florence Mavindi, leo ni siku nzito sana kwa Namibia. Unalipi la kuzungumza?
Ni kweli ni simanzi, majonzi kwa wana Namibia, lakini Sio kwa na Namibia tu peke yake, Ramadhani mpenda, tuweza kusema kwa nchi nyingi za Afrika, kwa sababu ukiangalia masuala ya kidiplomasia, ushirikiano ambao upo baina ya nchi moja na nchi nyingine kwa nchi bara hili la Afrika ni mkubwa sana. Kwa hiyo unaona kwamba ni simanzi kwa wengi ukiangalia jinsi walivyoshirikiana nchi ya Namibia na mataifa mengine katika masuala ya kiuchumi, katika masuala ya kijamii. Kwa hiyo tunasema hii ni simanzi kubwa ambayo imewakumba wenzetu na bara la Afrika kwa ujumla. Na hili pia linanikumbusha hayati John Magufuli. Tulikuwa nao pia wenzetu waliomboleza nasi pamoja. Kwa pia ni wakati wetu pia nasi kuweza kuomboleza nao pamoja wa Tanzania kwa ujumla na mataifa mengine kwa ujumla.
Naam, Florence, ni kweli unachokisema, na kizingatia kwamba hasa Namibia na Tanzania tuna ushirika wa kidugu. Kwa sababu utakumbuka harakati za mzee wetu, baba yetu wa taifa, marehemu Julius Nyerere, alishirikiana vilivyo na baba wa taifa wa Namibia. Ifuke Punye Pohamba pamoja na kina Sam Nujoma wameshirikiana vizuri, na hata heshima ile inaonekana katika baadhi ya maeneo. Tuna barabara Sam Nujoma kuonesha Tanzania namna tunavyoenzi viongozi wale walioshirikiana katika kuasisi mataifa yao. Lakini leo wa Namibia wana simanzi kubwa, lakini vile vile wanatoa alama nzuri kwa Afrika kuonesha kwamba utaratibu wa mbadilishano wa madaraka bila kumwaga damu, bila kuwa na bugdha unawezekana.
Naam, kabisa.
Yes. Baada ya kifo cha Dr. Geingob, uliona namna alivyofanya ile mbadilishano ilikuwa ni haraka
na ukawa ni wa amani, utulivu, bila changamoto yoyote ambayo imejitokeza. Hakuna. Na ni funzo kama wanavyosema, imeacha alama kwamba ni funzo pia kwa wengine. Tunaona kwetu pia Tanzania ilivyotokea kwa hayati John Pombe Magufuli, Rais Samia Suluhu Hassan ambaye alikuwa ni makamu wa rais akagiza Afrika. Kama watu wengi wanapenda kukaa madarakani wakai wao wenyewe, au ukisema mabadiliko ni ngumu sana kuweza kuruhusu hicho kitu, lakini kwa hii ni ishara kwamba demokrasia inawezekana, usawa unawezekana bila mwagaji wa damu yoyote.
Ni kweli Florence, lakini la pili lingine ambalo wa Namibia wanamkumbuka sana Dr. Geingob ni uchapakazi wake na uhodari katika kupambana na rushwa. Rushwa imekuwa ni ugonjwa mkubwa sana kwa mataifa mengi na hususan Afrika. Inarejesha nyuma maendeleo. Anatajwa kwamba alikuwa ni kinara championi katika kupambana na rushwa akiwa katika nafasi ya waziri mkuu. Lakini hakusita kuendeleza taswira yake ile na harakati zake za kupambana na rushwa akiwa rais. Unaielezaje rushwa inavyoathiri maendeleo ya Afrika?
Rushwa kwa kiasi kikubwa inakwamisha mambo mengi ya kimaendeleo. Tunaongelea kwamba unakuta mtu anahitaji kwenda kupata huduma hospitali, lakini pia anapaswa kutoa kitu chochote. Wakati ni haki ya kuweza kupata huduma, anatoa fedha kupata huduma ile ya afya, lakini unakuta kuna mnyororo fulani ambao unakwamisha kwa namna moja ama nyingine. Kwa hiyo tukisema mapambano ya rushwa yalianza kitambo na mpaka sasa bado yanaendelea, haimaanishi kwamba inashindwa kutokomezwa. Hapana. Hatua kwa hatua, taratibu, ndivyo ambavyo rushwa inaweza kwenda kupotea kwa utaratibu mzuri kabisa, ili kuweza kutoa haki kwa wananchi wengine kuweza kupata huduma za kijamii kwa usawa, bila kusema kwamba toa chochote upate hiki. Unakuta ni kitu cha msingi Ramadhani, lakini pale ambapo unaona mtu anakuongelesha fulani hivi, au hata ni barabarani ukuta traffic anakuongelesha kwa lugha ambayo ni ya ushawishi, wewe utoe kitu chochote. Unasema huyu si wa kuniongoza barabarani, kwa nini nimpe kitu chochote? Unaona, yeye ndo anapaswa kuwa mwalimu wa madereva barabarani, bodaboda, magari hivyo, lakini kwa nini nitoe chochote? Unakuta yeye anayetoa na yule anayepokea wote wanatenda kosa. Lakini huu mnyororo kwa nini tusiuvunje? Ndio mapambano. Tunaona kuna taasisi mbalimbali zinahakikisha kwamba kutoa elimu kwa mwananchi kwamba ukitaka kutoa rushwa unafanya kosa, sio yule anayepokea tu peke yake. Kwa hiyo elimu iweze kuingia kwa wananchi wengi kujua kwamba haki zao za msingi ni zipi, wafanye lipi ili kuhakikisha kwamba wanaenenda katika msingi mzuri bila kukosea taifa. Maana kufanya hivyo umekosea taifa na mwenyewe pia umejikosesha pia haki zako za msingi.
Ni kweli kabisa Florence Mavindi, na shughuli ndio bado inaendelea kule, lakini kunasema kwamba rais mstaafu wa awamu ya pili wa Tanzania mzee wetu Ali Hassan Mwinyi anasema kwamba kwa utakapokuwa muondoka duniani basi uwe kitabu kizuri chenye kusimuliwa. Nadhani ndio unahisi kwamba Dr. Geingob sasa anavyokuwa katika simulizi nzuri katika kupambana na rushwa, utawala mzuri, namna kuunganisha wananchi, demokrasia. Lakini ndio hivyo maneno ya mzee wetu mzee Ali Hassan Mwinyi, anasema uwe kitabu kizuri chenye kusimuliwa. pale utakapokuwa umetanguliwa mbele za haki. Mtazamaji, endelea kufuatilia kile kinachoendelea katika matangazo ya moja kwa moja kutoka uwanja wa Uhuru katika mji mkuu wa Namibia, Windhoek. Ni tukio maalum la kumbukizi maalum ya kitaifa kabla ya maziko ya aliyekuwa rais wa 3 wa Namibia, ambapo maziko yake yanatarajiwa kufanyika kesho huko nchini Namibia. Endelea kufuatilia matangazo haya. Mtazamaji, kama tulivyokuambia hapo awali, ni kwamba ni siku nzito sana kwa taifa la Namibia, na itakumbuka kwamba viongozi mbalimbali wameshiriki hapa. Miongoni mwao yupo Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania Dkt. Samia Suluhu Hassan, lakini pia Rais mstaafu wa awamu ya 4 Dkt. Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete. Na itakumbuka kwamba mahusiano ya kidiplomasia, ya kiuchumi na ya kijamii kati ya Namibia na Tanzania yamekuwa yakiendelea siku hadi siku. Lakini tuna mahusiano mazuri na Namibia katika masuala mbalimbali ya upashanaji wa habari. Namibia tumeshiriki mambo kadhaa katika shirika la utangazaji Tanzania, kwenda kujifunza kule mambo yanavyokwenda. Ndio mambo yanavyokwenda katika nchi, mashirikiano yenyewe yanatembea kwa nyanja mbalimbali. Kwa hivyo Namibia ni mshirika mkubwa wa karibu wa Tanzania katika mambo mbalimbali.
Na tunakumbuka pia mwandishi wa habari nguli Gabriel Zakaria aliweza kufika kule.
Na Agnes Tuniga. Producer makini
kabisa.
Walikwenda Namibia kujifunza mambo kadha wa kadha.
Na pia Gabriel alisema alikaribishwa katika ikulu ya Namibia, ni wakarimu kama ambao sisi tunajisifia kwamba mataifa mengine pia wanasifia Tanzania kama ni watu wakarimu sana. Ndivyo ambavyo pia Namibia, jinsi ambavyo waandishi wetu hapa walivyofika kule, wamepata ukarimu wa hali ya juu na kuweza kujifunza masuala mbalimbali katika tasnia ya habari, na kuweza kuja kutupa mawili matatu kama vyombo vya habari. Wenzetu wanaandaa vipi ripoti, kitu gani hasa cha kuzingatia, kwa ni somo ambalo pia nasi tumeweza kujifunza kutoka kwa wenzetu ambao waliweza kufika Namibia kupata mawili matatu katika tasnia nzima ya habari.
Ni kweli kabisa Florence Mavini. Labda tuende kusikiliza kile kinachoendelea kutoka katika uwanja wa Uhuru mjini Windhoek nchini Namibia.
Our father was indeed a father in our nation. As his children and grandchildren, we understand that our father wore the heaviest of mantles, and so we tried our best to be his support system, to step back and allow others who wanted pieces of him to have their way, to resolve our problems without burdening him, and to not stress him out with our issues. The irony is that he was always stressed over our issues. Have we eaten? Are we sorted? Are we comfortable? It never ceased to amaze us how he always found the time and energy to ever be present for us. He fathered an entire nation with the same love and concern. Have all the children of Namibia eaten? Is the nation sorted? Are businessmen and women given every opportunity to succeed? Is government doing its best and its part effectively and efficiently? Are the women, men, and children of Namibia comfortable in terms of their dwelling? Are they safe? Are they respected, recognized, and included? And whenever the answer was that not all Namibians have this, our father applied his whole golden big heart, his brilliant mind, and his passionate soul to stressing over the lives and livelihoods of the Namibian children. Our father was a father figure to many. We were raised alongside several siblings, many of whom are here today. In fact, multitudes of which are here today. And thank you so much for accompanying us. In the vast tapestry of existence, where such thread weaves its own narrative, our father's story was one of resilience, wisdom, and an unwavering commitment to the greater good. He was a beacon of hope and a testament to the belief that from the humblest of beginnings, greatness can emerge. Our father was a man of principle, embodying the virtues of honesty, integrity, and respect. He navigated the complexities of life with a steadfast moral compass, always guided by the light of truth and the strength of his convictions. His life was a masterclass in the art of living purposefully, a symphony of actions driven by love, duty, and an unshakable belief in the potentiality of humanity. He was not merely a participant in the unfolding story of our nation. He was a visionary architect, dreaming of a future where dignity, prosperity, and unity were not just ideals, but realities for all. Our Namibian house. His vision was not confined to the corridors of power, but extended into the hearts and the homes of those he served with such devotion. Our Namibian house. Our father's approach to life was characterized by a remarkable balance of strength and gentleness. His resilience was not born of rigidity, but of a profound understanding of the human condition. He knew the value of hard brevity, a true son of the soil. In the quiet moments, in the spaces between the demands of leadership, he was a family man at his core. His love for us, his children, was boundless, his guidance unwavering, and his support unconditional. Today, as we celebrate his life and honor his memory, we pledge to carry forward the torch of his legacy. We will strive to live by his principles, to embody the virtues he held dear, and to continue his work of building a future that reflects the beauty of his dreams. Our dad was more than a leader. He was a source of light in a world that often feels overshadowed by the clouds of despair. In his memory, let us all be bearers of that light, champions of the values he cherished, and architects of the world he believed we could create together. In closing, we find solace in the belief that while his journey on this earth has ended, his spirit continues to guide us. His lessons continue to inspire us, and his love continues to embrace us. We are eternally grateful for the privilege of calling him Dad, Papa, Opa. And we take comfort in knowing that his legacy will forever be a beacon of hope, guiding us toward a brighter, more united future. Thank you, Dad, for everything. Your memory will forever be a treasure in our hearts, a reminder of the power of love, the importance of principle, and the boundless potential of the human spirit. Dad, we will miss you so much. Mangaliso will miss those late-night phone calls. Helmut will miss the way you truly understood and listened to him. Nangula will miss your vibrant discussions on politics and campaign trails. Naomi will miss cooking for her papa. Oshoveli and Jackson will miss your sports banter and passionate debates. Dangos will miss rubbing your feet after a hard day at work and sharing your personal, special handshake. Nino will miss being your top guy. Kayla will miss how you always took her side, no matter what. And baby Lucas will miss calling you Ota. We will all miss your quick and witted jokes, your sound advice, and your unconditional love. Our life, you live in our lives for.
Ms. Robiati for presenting the statement of the children of our late president. We extend our condolences to them once more. Now, with your understanding, I would postpone the performances by the Namibian Defense Force military band so that they will do that at the end of the program, and so we can proceed with the speakers for the sake of time. I would now like to invite Honorable McHenry Venani, Leader of the Official Opposition.
Director of Ceremony, our Prime Minister, Saraku Kongelo Amadila, Your Excellency, President Nangolo Mbumba, President of our Republic, and First Lady Madame Seseki Bumba, Madame Monica Geingob, the widow, the children, grandchildren, shall I say, the nuclear and the extended Sandip Kalondo families. Your Royal Highnesses, Your Excellencies, heads of states and governments present, former heads of states and governments, Excellencies, ambassadors, and plenipotentiaries of states, Your Excellency, founding President of our Republic, President Sem Shafishuna Nuyoma and Madame Nuyoma, Your Excellency, our second President of the Republic, Tatekuru Ifike Punya Pohamba and Madame Pohamba, Vice President of our Republic, Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwa and General Retired Ndaitwa, Speaker of our National Assembly, Peter Kashavivi, and Chairperson of the National Council, Muha, members of our Cabinet, members of Parliament, Your Lordship Chief Justice and the Judiciary, the Secretary General of the ruling party, Sophia Chaningwa, members of the Fourth Estate, service chiefs, luminaries of our great society, prelate men of the clergy, led by Bishop Emeritus Kameta, and Reverend Dr. Geno Nakamela, amongst prominent men of the clergy, Chief Emmanuel Gassep, Chairperson of the Traditional Council, Governor of the region, Laura McLeod, Mayor of Windhoek, and all other important leaders present here. Fellow mourners, today we gather to bid farewell to a statesman, a leader, a unifying force in the history of our nation, the late Hage Geingob. In this moment of grief, let us reflect on the profound impact he had on our nation and monumental legacy he leaves behind. Generally, Eulogizing any person is a formidable task, particularly when it pertains to an individual of Geingob's stature, class, and wits, whose influence inspired our nation. In the medley of our nation, as we commemorate the life and legacy of President Geingob, the profound words of Odysseus of the Greek mythology echo through the corridors of time. We ponder the question that Odysseus asked, and he asked the following, and I quote, "Will strangers hear our names long after we are gone and wonder who we were, how bravely we fought and how fiercely we loved," quote unquote. President Geingob's legacy, not only as a head of state, but also as a deft negotiator on the international stage, is a testament to his enduring impact on our nation. His skillful diplomacy and adept negotiation strategies were instrumental in navigating some of the complexities of our nation's history. Just as Odysseus contemplated the echoes of his actions, we too must consider the indelible mark that Geingob leaves on the pages of Namibian history. Generations yet unborn shall inquire about the man who was a fierce debater, a master negotiator, and more so loved in his country with great fervor. President Geingob can be remembered at midwifing our national constitution. What an honor that he was to this country, that during a difficult time, he could get it right in a passage of less than 80 days to create a respected Bill of Rights that is respected globally. That is the man we are eulogizing today. President Geingob shall be remembered by me, who had the honor to oppose him, to hold his government accountable for the last 9 years, as a man who nearly single-handedly convinced our country that we must take on the European Union and renegotiate the EPAs. He did it. And that is the acumen of a man I am eulogizing today. In honoring Geingob's memory, let us recognize that his action, like those of Odysseus, transcend the immediate present. His name shall endure, and strangers in the future will hear of his deeds, pondering the character of the leader who was present for many historical events in our nation's young history. Fellow mourners, in this solemn moment as we bid farewell to my dear elder brother, I wish to extend my deepest condolences to you, my sister, Madam Monica Geingob. And I want to start my statement by saying this to you, my dear sister. The burden you carry during this period of profound loss is undoubtedly immense. And it is with sincere sympathy and empathy that I acknowledge the strength and resilience you have exhibited as the pillar of your family. Navigating the intricate responsibility of being a matriarch of the Namibian house was not an easy feat. And your steadfastness during these challenging times has not gone unnoticed. The sacrifices you made and the strength you displayed for the sake of your children, your family, exemplify the depth of your character and the love that binds your household. As my wife and I reflect on your poise and resilience, we stand in awe of your grace under such trying times. I know your own husband would have said, "Monica, are you a crybaby? You must not be a coward." So I don't want you to mourn by crying. I want you to celebrate your life partner. Madam Geingob, your role as a partner to the late President Geingob did not go unnoticed, and I extend my utmost respect for the love, care, and support you provided throughout your marriage. I knew Dr. Geingob very well, and I knew when he was happy. And I can testify in front of all the millions of our people, Hage was happy around Monica all the time. As we collectively mourn his loss, I want you to know that my wife and I are profoundly proud of you. Your resilience, dignity, and unwavering support have been a source of inspiration to many during this challenging time. I say this to you. You took a ceremonial office of First Lady, and you conducted yourself that even politicians started to wait what you're saying. And that is the character of the woman you displayed in this country. We are proud of you, Monica Geingob. As we navigate the tempest of loss, we turn to the words of William Shakespeare, who encapsulated the essence of our shared sorrow when he said the following, and I quote, "When he shall die, take him and cut him out in the little stars, and he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night and pay no worship to the garish sun," quote unquote. In the tapestry of our nation, President Geingob's legacy shines as a constellation, a guiding light that has shaped the fabric of our identity. His dedication to the nation-building project will forever remain etched in our collective memory. President Geingob often spoke of the test of our nation being in its unity, particularly during the unprecedented periods in our history. Today we find ourselves at such a junction, facing daunting challenges that define our era. It is during these trying times that the unity he championed becomes not just a test, but a beacon, guiding us through the storm. Fellow mourners, President Geingob on the political theater. President Geingob could certainly be difficult at times, and he made me very, very angry. And I'm sure I also made him very, very angry on the many positions that we took. But President Geingob conducted a political transactional currency of the highest level for months. But we would always view each other as compatriots. We had respect for one another. We were not condescending. We had differences, acrimonious differences, politically, that ought to be in a country. But one thing was, Geingob was a patriot to this country. And he knew that his opposing Namibians were also compatriots. And for that, I shall forever hold him very dear. President Geingob and I shared a brief friendship in the earlier years of our careers. I was a young man, went to Parliament at the age of 26. He was the chief whip of his party, I was the chief whip of my party. And this is where the camaraderie started. I don't want to waste time, but I want to bring these small moments in our lives that I will forever cherish as an elder brother. He was a bridge builder of all times. When it was not a common thing in this country for opposing leaders to become personal friends, Hage Geingob made friends with the opposition. We could go to his house. He could call our homes. We had friendship that the country was not even realizing why he was doing that. But he was a bridge builder. For that, I shall forever remain indebted to him. One day, we took a flight, myself and him. He was the chairman of the Economics Committee, and he made that committee so powerful. And he wanted the best a la creme of parliamentarians to be part of that committee. Long story short, we landed, took a very light aircraft, was seated next to me. We went to Kunene South in the conservancy areas. Dr. Topia Upindi reminded me of this story. He was the managing director of one company called Wilderness Safari or something. So they took us on a ride to see the fauna and flora of the area and to see the animals. Myself, President Geingob, our Foreign Minister Pia Mushelenga, jumped on a car that was open. And as we were traversing, we saw a very stray elephant. And this elephant was charging on the car that we were seated in. Typical Geingob. You see, you want us to get killed. We have better assignments to do in the future. Turn this car, let's go back. So we went back. So when we arrived later years, you, Venani, you were brave that day. But had you not been, for me, you wouldn't have even been the opposition leader of this country. You would have been dead by now. He would laugh. Above all, the man was a man of principle and code. He had a set of public virtues that brought strength and purpose to his life and to our country. He was a very honest man, even when it offended others. He would take a position, like it or not. Hage would take a position. You knew where you stood with him on any matter. Of recent, he took on Germany on the question of Israel and the Namibian genocide. I must say, this man was a man of principle, a worthy opponent, a critical debater, but a man who would always hold hand. I see, with great respect, the President of Germany is here, Herr Steinmeier. Herr Steinmeier, on the mortal remains of my friend, many German leaders for the last many years never came to this country. The last person who was here was Herr Helmut Kohl. It's good that you are here. But on the mortal remains of this man and on the work that was started by our second president, President Pohamba, our people are expecting that the Namibian-German case of genocide to be settled. We plead to you when you go back that on the negotiating table, create a respectable deal on behalf of our people, create an honorable deal so that we close this chapter and move on going forward. Namibia is better for his presence amongst us. The world is smaller for his departure, and we will remember him as he was, unwavering and towering. We will remember his husky voice, his jovial smile and laughter. As friends, when the political temperatures went high, my dear sister Monica would toss us one-sided state events. The two of us had a weakness not to look like our problems. So Monica would ask, so Hage and McHenry, who is better dressed today? She would be on the floor because Hage would start saying, obviously Hage, how can this young man dress better than me? That is the man who was Hage, always jovial and making jokes when it comes to easy time. We will remember his composure. We will remember that he brought a sense of calm to an office ever so serious. I recall during the COVID-19 pandemic, if I have to write about Hage Geingob, that was his best years of being a leader of this country. Hage was conducting these family meetings, alcohol prohibited. Alcohol prohibited. Hage would share often on WhatsApps on the conditions of the COVID-19, but how he demonstrated leadership during that difficult time, it was something to be emulated. Of course, he was not a perfect man. In this great republic, this is not just the death of a public figure, it feels personal. Hage's death is felt everywhere in our country. The elders, the young, everyone, even people from various political parties, everybody is saying our leader has gone. That is the man that he was. I've always respected his views on the free media and that he allowed the media to have a full day with him. He would be questioned on anything that he does, right or wrong, personal or no personal. Hage would be on the front lines, and that's how he treated the media. I'm sure the media will miss him dearly. I will miss him dearly because our politics was very loud. Hage would disagree with us very loudly. He would always watch parliamentary debates every day. And if Venani is scoring the goals, he would call certain people, I don't want to name their names. And when they come back, you see that they're hitting. When they're hitting back, I know the instruction comes from State House. At this juncture, we must envision a future guided by the principles of unity, service, and unwavering commitment to our nation. The challenges we face demand decisive leadership and steadfast dedication to our defining values. Inspired by Geingob's legacy, current and future generations must walk the journey of serving the people. In commemorating him, we salute the work he has done for our country selflessly. As we navigate the path forward, we should continue to construct what he termed Namibian House, that is steadfast, committed to the eradication of divisive elements, tribalism, racism, regionalism, and any other forms of discrimination must find no place within our national narrative. Together as a united country, we must seek to mitigate the challenges that lies ahead, fortified by the values that President Geingob's leadership defined. Furthermore, our commitment to high transactional currency has saved our politics. We are one country that has done very well in terms of our democratic credentials. It's not a perfect house, but we are building that house knowing that as citizens, we must continue to support and help a country before politics. Namibian first, country first, politics second. and that is the mantra of the political currency that persistent challenges of underdevelopment, unemployment and inequality and to intensify our efforts in laying the foundations for a Namibia that epitomizes goodness and justice. In bidding farewell to President Geingob, let us draw solace to his favorite word in the Bible, Psalm 34, verse 18. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. May these verses offer solace and assurance as we navigate the path ahead in honoring President Geingob. Finally, as we lament a life well and a life well.
Mtazamaji, aliyekuwa akiongea ni kiongozi wa upinzani wa Namibia, ambapo amemuongelea kwa umakini zaidi Dr. Geingob kwamba alikuwa kiongozi mvumilivu, kiongozi msikivu, kiongozi ambaye aliunganisha wa Namibia pale ilipokuja katika swala la kisiasa. Amemtaja Dr. Geingob kwamba aliweka utaifa mbele na siasa baadaye. Lakini kazungumza mambo ya kidogo, anavyosema kwamba kuna wakati maji yanakuwa yanachemka katika siasa, basi anawaambia watulie kidogo, lakini utaifa mbele. Huyo ni Dr. Hage Geingob ambaye katangulia mbele za haki Februari 4, na maziko yake yanatarajiwa kufanyika kesho. Leo ni siku ya kumbukumbu ya kitaifa ambayo inafanyika katika uwanja wa Uhuru mjini Windhoek. Shughuli imehudhuriwa na viongozi kadha wa kadha. Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan yupo mjini Windhoek. Rais mstaafu wa awamu ya 4 Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania Dr. Jakaya Kikwete yupo kushiriki moja kwa moja na wananchi wa Namibia na viongozi wa Namibia katika siku nzito ya kumbukumbu ya kitaifa, na baadaye kushiriki mazishi rasmi ya aliyekuwa rais wa 3 wa Namibia Dr. Hage Geingob.
Country's independence and nation building. The sad news of his untimely passing struck a deep and solemn note when I received a call shortly after midnight on Sunday, the 4th of February, 2024, from His Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, informing me that President Geingob is no more. The last time I spoke to the late President Hage Geingob was when he called me on a day before he went for medical treatment abroad. On that occasion, I wish him a quick recovery and renewed strength to continue leading our country to greater heights of economic development and prosperity. As the nation collectively grieves this profound loss of a loving husband to his dear wife and a caring father to his children, our thoughts and prayers are with the widow, Madam Monica Geinkos, former First Lady, the children, and the extended Geingob's family and clan at this difficult time. May you find solace in the knowledge that as a nation we share in your grief and join you in mourning our departed President Geingob. Fellow mourners, it is difficult to eulogize and vividly capture in words what makes a life and the essential truth of a person. However, having heard the many tributes that have been written over the past 3 weeks describing the late President Hage Geingob as a freedom fighter, a Pan-Africanist, and the chief architect of our Constitution and our governance architecture, I could not agree more with such description, as it is appropriate and fits him aptly. Indeed, it has been profoundly touching to witness how the news of his untimely passing united our nation in grief and sorrow. Similarly, the outpouring of love from all over the world is a testament to President Geingob's diplomacy of multilateralism when he said, "Namibia is a child of international solidarity and therefore a friend to all and an enemy to none." Against this background, the theme of this state funeral, which reads, "Inclusivity spells harmony, exclusivity spells conflict," is befitting as the late President Hage Geingob fervently advocated for our country's unity in diversity, reflecting our unique Namibian identity as opposed to our different ethnic identities, which he weaved together in a common tapestry through his mantra of the Namibian house, in which no one should feel left out. He will thus be remembered as a unifier because he embodied a politics that was not divisive, as he understood the immense power of unity and vehemently fought against tribalism. For those of us who knew him, those who worked alongside him, and those who loved him, it is unbearable that we will not see him again. We may have lost the commanding presence of a gentle giant and a roaring lion with the heart of a lamb, as well as the heavy accented tone of a towering figure, but his spirit will live on in the countless men and women that he mentored and trained over the years. Fellow mourners, the first time I met the late President Hage Geingob was at Leopoldville, Kinshasa, in the Congo, now the Democratic Republic of Congo, when he joined us in exile in 1963 through Botswana, where he spent some time in a refugee camp before he left for the United States of America in 1964 to study at Temple University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, when he was granted a scholarship. Subsequently, he obtained a BA degree in political science from Fordham University in New York in 1970 and a master's in international relations at the New School for Social Research in 1974. I appointed him as SWAPO representative at the United Nations and to the Americas when he was still a student, together with the late comrades Theo Ben Gurirab and Hidipo Hamtenya. Being a representative, he lobbied hard for the UN General Assembly's resolution 2145 of 27th of October 1966 to terminate the mandate of South Africa over Namibia and reaffirm our people's inalienable right to self-determination, freedom and independence. On my recommendation, the late President Hage Geingob was appointed director at the United Nations Institute for Namibia, UNIN, an educational body set up by the United Nations Council for Namibia in Lusaka, Zambia, on 26th of August 1976 to educate Namibians for roles in an independent Namibia. In 1989, he was appointed by the SWAPO Central Committee to lead the SWAPO election campaign as director, and I handed to him the SWAPO flag during the implementation of the UN General Assembly's Resolution 435. In September 1989, after nearly 30 years in exile, when I returned to Namibia, I was received by the late President Hage Geingob in Windhoek. I recall that when I stepped down from the plane, he held high the same SWAPO flag I had handed to him on 18th June 1989 and handed it back to me. After SWAPO's historic landslide victory in the 1989 UN supervised elections, the Constituent Assembly elected Comrade Hage Geingob as its chairman. His task was not only to conduct the proceedings, but also to build confidence between diverse parties and previously warring enemies. He showed us painstakingly that he was a skillful negotiator who was not afraid to seek for compromises for the sake of a bigger goal. Because of this, he was highly praised for his skillful handling of debates, which proved instrumental in ensuring that our country's supreme law was drafted in a record time of only 3 months and unanimously adopted on the 9th of February 1990. I then appointed Comrade Geingob as our country's first Prime Minister to oversee the restructuring of the public service that was fragmented along racial and ethnic lines, and to put up the new governance architecture of an independent Namibia. He executed his role with diligence and with dedication. I was therefore not surprised when he was elected as Vice President of SWAPO Party and eventually the 3rd President of the SWAPO Party and of the Republic of Namibia. At this juncture, allow me to applaud the Namibian people for their calmness during the mourning period and for a seamless and peaceful transition of power. This is an indication that our democracy has matured and our state is stable because we have sound processes, systems, and institutions in place as envisioned by the late President Hage Geingob. In this regard, allow me to wholeheartedly convey good wishes to His Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbuba for being sworn in as the 4th President of the Republic of Namibia when he filled the vacant post for the remainder of the term of office of the late President Hage Geingob in accordance with the provisions of the Namibian Constitution. In the same vein, allow me to extend my well wishes to Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah for her appointment as the Vice President of the Republic of Namibia. Fellow mourners, in according a hero's funeral to the late President Hage Geingob, we are giving a richly deserved recognition to a national hero and 3rd President of the Republic of Namibia as a recipient of many international awards, including the Jose Marti Order, which will be conferred on him posthumously by our Cuban friends and comrades in arms with whom we shared trenches together with the Angolan FAPLA forces until the final historic battle of Quito Cuanavale. The late President Hage Geingob is also a recipient of Namibia's highest award when he was conferred the most ancient order of the Welwitschia Mirabilis, and thus he deservedly enters the pantheon of Namibia's heroes and heroines. We will miss his towering presence in the corridors of the UN, the AU, and the SADC headquarters and summits, as well as at State House. But let me say to the young people of our country and Africa at large that they too can make his life's work their own. The late President Hage Geingob hails from humble beginnings, and the white minority colonial regime of South Africa thought that he will live a life of servitude because he was a child of farm laborers. However, life had a different destiny for him to endure a life of service, but not to any master other than to the struggling masses of the Namibian people, and he rose through the ranks to the highest office in the land of the brave. Looking at the scope of his accomplishments and the admiration that he so rightly earned, he has shown us that he earned his place in history through struggle and unrelenting spirit, and that is why we learned so much from him, and we can still learn from him. He taught us the importance of reason and arguments and the need to study not only those you agree with, but also those you do not agree with. As he used to say, you do not make peace with your friends, but with your enemies. In addition, he demonstrated that action and ideas are not enough, no matter how right. They must be molded into processes, systems, and institutions. Furthermore, he always demanded the best from everyone around him. In summary, he was very attentive, teachable, and a very consultative person who placed great emphasis on dialogue. Above all, being truthful was very important to him. As we bid the late President Hage Geingob a fond farewell at the end of his earthly journey, and when we have rejoined our daily routines, let us reflect on his distinguished career and what we can learn from him to ensure that the legacy he leaves behind has grown deep roots like the marula tree and good shade for future generations. On behalf of the veterans of our national liberation struggle, the Nyoma family, and indeed on my own behalf, allow me to convey our deepest condolences and heartfelt sympathies to Madam Monica Geingob, the former First Lady, the children, the extended Geingob's family, and the entire nation for this profound loss. As we walk through this dark cloud hovering around our nation, may we all be granted fortitude to overcome this bereavement and be left only with the most cherished memories of our departed, beloved, late President Dr. Hage Geingob. May his legacy illuminate our path as we chart the future destiny of our country to greater economic development and prosperity. May his soul rest in eternal peace. So ends the statement of His Excellency, the Founding Father. I will now proceed to call on the Namibian Defense Force military band to give us one item as we prepare for the next item, which is the tributes by the heads of states and government and other foreign dignitaries.
Give me a countdown. Yes, and a very well welcome if you are watching us for the first time. We're coming to you live from the Independence Stadium, where the memorial service of Dr. Hage Geingob is just underway. We've had several speakers, and the last speaker was the founding president of Namibia, President Sam Nyoma. So we're almost halfway through with the program. It got off to a very good start, although there have been some late arrivals. What's next on the program, Denver? What's left?
So right now we'll see a performance by the Namibian Defense Force military band. That will be followed by heads of state and government and other foreign dignitaries delivering their tributes. Then we'll have another performance by the Namibian Defense Force military band. Thereafter, the former First Lady, the widow, Madam Monica Geingob, will deliver her tribute, followed by the address by the chief mourner, that is the President of the country, President Nangolo Mbumba. And then there will be announcements by the directors of ceremonies, followed by the benediction. And that more or less concludes the program for today's memorial service.
And in fact, thereafter, the body will again lie in state, which means that the public can then pay their respect once the VIPs have viewed the body, paid their respects, and left the stadium. Then the general public can then view the body and pay their respects. We will be coming, we'll be with you until this evening when this actually happens, but we'll also be with you tomorrow morning when the actual burial takes place at Heroes Acre.
And that will conclude 3 weeks of mourning. The Namibian nation since Sunday, the 4th of February 2024, when the tragic news reached us, has been in mourning. President Nangolo Mbumba on Monday, the 5th of February, of course, declared the official mourning period to commence.
Thank you very much, NDF. Now, before I start to call on their excellencies, the heads of states and governments, and leaders of delegations who would be presenting tribute, I would just like to acknowledge some of the heads of states and governments that have not been included in the list of recognized leaders when we made the announcement earlier, and others arrived after we have commenced already. So I would like to recognize His Excellency Mr. Sauli Niinisto, President of the Republic of Finland, His Excellency Mr. João Manuel Gonçalves Lorenzo, President of the Republic of Angola, and Madam, His Excellency Dr. Emerson Mnangagwa, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and Madam, His Excellency Dr. Mokwetsi Masisi, President of the Republic of Botswana, and Madam, His Excellency Mr. Lazarus Chakwera, President of the Republic of Malawi, Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Haimbe Mulambo, Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Zambia, His Excellency Mandarapu, High Commissioner